I'm speaking today with Dean Smith, who is CDA's Manager of Information Technology Services, about Canada's new anti-spam legislation. Dean, what are the main provisions of the new anti-spam legislation?
Canada's new anti-spam legislation was mainly created to reduce the amount of unwanted email in people's inboxes. People have an idea of spammers as being somebody who's sitting in a basement sending out thousands of emails to people trying to sell products. And in the case of Canada's anti-spam legislation, that's not necessarily the case. It applies to all electronic communications sent by an individual or business within the country. There's three main provisions to the new law. Number one, get consent from people. Number two, disclose who you are when sending electronic messages. And number three, provide an unsubscribe mechanism to ensure people can stop getting messages if they wish to do so.
What are the main implications for individual dental offices and for dental organizations?
For individual dental offices, not much changes under the new legislation. When communicating with your existing patient base, you can still continue to email and communicate electronically. When dealing with potential new patients, that's when you have to make sure that you have consent before sending out any type of electronic communication. For organized dentistry and organizations, we work under implied consent, meaning that when somebody joins an association, they want to receive communication from you. However, when dealing with somebody who hasn't been a member for the previous 2 years, it's very important to make sure that you receive consent from that person before you included them on any type of marketing mail-out. Having an opt-out mechanism in every email that goes out is a core requirement under the new legislation.
Are there practical next steps for individual dental offices and dental organizations to take between now and the 1st of July?
Well, before the new anti-spam legislation kicks into effect, it's very important to get consent from any prospective clients you might want to try to market to. Ironically enough, after July 1st, sending an email to a patient asking for consent is considered spam and not allowed under the new law. The second thing you might consider doing is creating a policy for your staff and awareness training to make sure that everybody in the office is aware that this law is now in effect and knows not to send out mass communications.
Thank you very much for this interview, Dean.
Thank you for having me.